This is good. This is really good. Oh, hey everybody. Just finishing off reading this. DC's Trinity. This deserves a comic book event month. Because this was a really great series ever made. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed that audio drama I made of Doctor Who. And bear in mind, folks, that turns out that I'm gonna put some of my audio on hold because turns out that my Google account is demanding money, so I'm trying to find a way to pay off the spaces so I can continue on with my scripts and my audio. Right now, I found another app where I can write the scripts, but trying to transfer some of the lines through will be kind of tricky. So I'm trying to find a way to go through that. So most of my audios will be on hold until I decided to continue on finishing on my audio. But this ain't going to stop my video review and also my movie riffs, so that's a good thing. And, oh yeah, talking about review, I remember I made a little hiccup on the first one, my Black Bat review, where I said that I was going to Six Flags. Well, I'm going to fix this one. Suck it, Disney. I'm going to Universal. Get mocked! Anyway, welcome for another episode of I Am the Multi-Voice Reviewer. I have many voices, but one opinion. And today, this is going to be the third and final of From Public Domain to Mockbuster, number 3. Now, believe it or not, I'm not just going to talk about one superhero from a Mockbuster movie, but this is going to have 3 in this. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you guys to those superheroes one by one, and then I talk about the movie that came afterwards. So let's get started, shall we? First off, we're going to talk about a certain superhero who goes by the name of the Blue Beetle. Now, for those of you who don't know who the Blue Beetle is, and I know the Blue Beetle sounds a little familiar from the DC universe. Well, here's one thing I want you to know. Blue Beetle did start out from Fox Publication, a comic book company that created their own group of superheroes until DC owned the rights for them. And this Blue Beetle is the very first one who goes by the name of Dan Garrett. He first appeared in Mystery Men number 1 back in 1939. Now, Dan Garrett's origin, they kind of changed. I mean, during the early years, he was a police officer who found a armored costume, and from the beginning, he was going for the Green Hornet look, where he wore a hat, a long coat, and a mask, until they changed it to an armored costume. And, he was a police officer who goes for a secret identity, who calls himself the Blue Beetle, who fights crime. And then they changed his origin, where now he's an archaeologist who found this blue Scarab pendulum, some sort of a talisman, and it gave him armored in his outfit. And believe it or not, the creator who created the Blue Beetle, well, since when Superman got really popular, he was trying to make Blue Beetle popular, and when, back in the 40s, when they did the radio series, the radio show of Superman, he decided to create a radio series of the Blue Beetle, back in the 40s. And then, at the end, they kept changing from one Blue Beetle to the next. First, it was Dan Garrett in 1939, and then there was another one called Ted Kord from 1966. And then we have the modern one, which is Jaime Reyes in 2006, the year after I graduated. And yes, it's the same Jaime Reyes from the same Jaime Reyes from the movie they made of the Blue Beetle back in 2023, which is last year. I haven't seen the movie, so don't ask me what I think about it. I haven't seen the movie yet, so I don't know what I say about it if I ever watched it. Anyway, they changed the Blue Beetle a lot. That somehow the ownership of the original Blue Beetle, I mean, he appeared in a few DC comics until, as usual, my favorite company, Dynamite Entertainment, did kinda, maybe sorta own the right of Dan Garrett's Blue Beetle, and this is what he looks like from the Dynamite Entertainment when they gave him the appearance in Project Superpowers. And of course, the Blue Beetle did have a sidekick who goes by the name of Skippy, but I'm not talking about the sidekicks, I'm talking about the main character. And even Project Superpowers, they made a new Blue Beetle, but they changed it to the Scarab, and this Scarab is now All-Man Cattle. He's supposed to be the new Blue Beetle, aka the Scarab now. Instead of calling him Blue Beetle, they call him the Scarab. So they kinda have the rights to Dan Garrett, but not the DC one. So they had the Scarab take their place, all of a sudden. Now that's one superhero I'm going to talk about. Now I'm going to talk about the other one. She goes by the name of Lady Satan. Now, unlike the Blue Beetle, who has armored outfit with super strength and shoot beams and such, Lady Satan, she's more like a secret agent lady. Secret agent lady. Man, she's giving you a number and taking away your name. Now, one thing I know about Lady Satan, her name is Maritella Chesler. And one thing to know about her, she's a secret agent who got involved in World War II, so she's a spy who battled against the Germans, and she knocked people out with her chlorine gas gun. Chlorine gas gun, huh? Well, I guess it can do more than just bleach your clothes. Although I heard that chlorine can be pretty deadly. And sadly, and also, Lady Satan even appeared in the comic book series called Dynamics Comics #2 back in 1941. And as usual, just like the Blue Beetle and the other heroes, Dynamite Entertainment owns her and had her appeared in Project Superpowers, and also the member of Mask with the other Pulp Fiction heroes. Interesting. Now, this one is a pretty interesting superhero. Believe it or not, this superhero, he's like a combined mix of Batman, Superman, and the Punisher all rolled in one. And this superhero I'm going to be talking about, he goes by the name of the Black Terror. Now, the Black Terror, he goes by the name of Robert Benton. And he found this vitamin substance or drug or something. It makes him indestructible. I mean, he can solve mysteries just like Batman. He can fly and have superpowers like Superman. And also, he kills bad guys just like the Punisher. And of course, he also had a sidekick who goes by the name of Timmy, aka Little Terror. But like I said, I'm not talking about the sidekicks, I'm talking about the main one here. And of course, the Black Terror first appeared in the comic book company called Extending Comics number 9 back in 1941. Which I gotta say, that was pretty impressive what they did there. And since the his series ended around the 50s and such, they did brought him back in they brought him back in 1989 comics of the Black Terror, which they since Batman came out, they decided to bring the Black Terror back in the public company. And then all of a sudden, as usual, Dynamite Entertainment owned the rights now of the Black Terror. And just like Lady Satan, he appeared in the Project Superpower, and he's also the member of Mask. Oh, and one more thing, he also did appear in the comic book series in 2003 called Tura Obseska. Must be an anthology or something. And then after him being in the in Project Superpower and Mask, in 2008, Dynamite Entertainment even continued his legacy in their comic book adaptation of him. So he has his own solo. You know, they talk so much about them, I think I should get Superpower Project and Mask. I mean, Project Superpower series, since their comic books are so interesting. But anyway, and the reason why I mention all three of these superheroes, because they appeared in a one certain Mockbuster movie that they made back in 2010, which is Avenging Force the Scarab. And here are the superheroes in the movie. Which I gotta say, that's pretty impressive for cheap cosplayers. I mean, I'm sorry, but they just look like a bunch of cosplayers and superheroes. And cheap ones. And as usual, the Avenging Force, bad acting, bad sets, bad performance, and even the costume for the the Blue Beetle, also known as the Scarab, I mean, they just took the mask from the Black Bat and recycled it for another actor to wear. Which I gotta say, that is nuts. Oh yeah, I forgot. The movie even introduced another superhero. He goes by the name of Daredevil. No, not the Marvel Daredevil, the public domain one. Now, one thing I know about that Daredevil is that he started out as a mute. He's a superhero who can't talk. And he fights crime because he's a gymnast. He's athletic, and he fights crime with 2 metal boomerangs that he carries. Now, of course, since Marvel owned the rights... Oh, yeah. the Daredevil, he goes by the name of Bart Hill, and he appeared in Silver Streak Comics number 6 in 1940. But sadly, when Stan Lee created Daredevil, they didn't want to get confused with the other Daredevil, so they changed the name. So they changed his name from a lot of other comics. Like, there is this company who goes by the name of AC Comics. They changed his name from Daredevil to Red Devil in 1991. And of course, as usual, my favorite company, Dynamite Entertainment, they decided to continue his legacy in 2008, except they don't call him Daredevil, they call him the Death-Defying Devil. And of course, lately, this superhero now talks. He's no longer mute. And as usual, the Death-Defying Devil, or Daredevil, even appeared in Project Superpowers, and they finally call him Daredevil now. And of course, they even mention a villain in the movie, which they were going after, which during the credits you just see comic book drawings of them fighting. The villain they were battling against, he goes by the name of the Claw. Now, one thing I heard about the Claw is that he's an evil supervillain who is in league with the Japanese during World War II. He's like a human gremlin-like monster who appeared in the very first Silver Streak comics back in 1939. And he also appeared in the Dynamite comics as well. Of course, on Project Superpower, they killed him off. And that is the rest of From Public Domain to Mockbuster. And that is all I can tell you, folks. So my advice to you, don't watch those Mockbuster movies with all those superheroes in it, because they're just bad. Just plain bad. Just go to Dynamite Entertainment and order some comic books. Order Mask. Order Project Superpowers. Or order the comic book adaptation of them and read their adventures. It's a lot better. And that's my opinion. And for those of you who like my review of this, please leave a comment down below, hit like and subscribe. And next review, I'm going to be talking about a latest movie. It came out on Amazon Prime that I really like so much. And it's gonna cast John Cena! You can't see me! My time is now! And also, Awkwafina is in it too. So stay tuned, folks. I'm the multi-voice reviewer. I remember so I can jog your memory.